growth as a sustained happiness and ending to sufferings in a permanent way. So Vishnu represents the happiness or the bliss that we experience, that is present at the bottom of the navel. If you see, always happiness starts from the bottom of the stomach. You will feel bliss. So that bliss is unaffected by ego. It is always there. So that represents, and that is the source of creation. It is the that is why from the stomach navel of Lord Vishnu, you can see the Brahma sitting on a lotus that represents the source of creation or singularity. There is also other symbols like conch, which represents the um, Om sound, which helps us break the suffering by expanding our perception beyond the one state of conscious mind to actually different states. So Om sound helps us break that barrier and understand who we really are. Lotus is the represents the purity and non-attachment nature, and so is the source of creation, which is pure and non-attached. Mace, or this weapon that you see in the hands of Vishnu, represents a strong intellect and a good physical strength, which is required to attain the balance. Chakra, Sudarshana chakra that you can see represents the mind, and how it is circling in all the directions, but at the core there is a will of God. So it reminds us that at the core of everything is the will of God. Mind cannot think that it is beyond what the will of God is, right? And sword and sheath, if you see, there is another hand behind it. In some other pictures you can see, but there will be a sheath inside which a sword would be kept. So sword is basically the knowledge, and the sheath is the ignorance, which hides the knowledge. And if the ignorance is removed, then the knowledge actually helps you liberate and understand. Lakshmi represents the prosperity, which is when in a perfect state of non-attachment. If you are able to be in that balanced state of mind, prosperity is always there with you. So there's a lot of message that you can understand, and it draws a parallel with our physical understanding of how our body exists, right? Similarly, Lord Shiva, you can see a lot of symbolism here again. Ganges flowing from the top, moon as an ornament, snake as an ornament. There is a trishul besides, and there is a kamandala also, and there is a drum also. Each of these trishul represents the knowledge, desire, and action, which is required to break the false assumption or false ego and realize who you really are, which you can also relate it to the symbol, uh, uh, which is the physical aspect of the body. There is also snake ornament, which represents the ego. And what we understand from here is that ego is just an ornament worn. Uh, I'm not attached to my ornament, right? It's not me, it's the ornament that I'm wearing. Drum represents the sound Om. And also you can see the scriptures, which is full of Om, and explaining these various concepts, abstract concepts to us, uh, are revealing us the right path through which we can attain the balance. So that is represented by drum. Rudraksha mala. Rudraksha is considered to be a purity, and mala represents the concentration. So a mala made of Rudraksha represents the pure focused concentration. Ganges, which is flowing from the head, represents the knowledge which has been passed over from generations, rishis and their Brahmins, their sons. So that represents the Ganges flow of knowledge across generations. The moon again represents the time, because the moon uh, what is called waxing and waning. It grows and then again becomes full moon, and then again goes back to um, blackness, right? So that represents the time cycle, and that is also a mere ornament. That's I don't identify myself with the time, is what the symbolic message is here. The tiger skin represents the courage. The third eye represents the false identity destruction, and the water kamandala, which is kept here, shows the self-contained life, not dependent on material life, but whatever is there with us, that is just sufficient to live life and be happy without any suffering. All we need is self-contained, is the message. So you can see whether it is the symbolic message or of mukti, that is by non-attachment, by disconnecting from all the material world and going inside inward. I try to establish the balance, or I try to find the universality in everything that is outside, and I build unconditional love, which brings us to the state of balance. In either ways, we are trying to basically establish a balance between our left and right nerves, which if with right strength and with right attitude and with right understanding and mindset, it happens naturally. If you are having a good physical strength, if you are using the right knowledge in right way, if you are not ignorant and living in false assumptions, if you understand what is a creation and how I am related to the creation, if I'm not attached to false things and I'm pure, my surroundings doesn't affect me the way lotus is not affected by the dirt in which it is grown, and and from where the creativity also comes. So when I'm understanding that way, also automatically my energy states are in balance. Or if the mukti way also, I can understand the and attain the state of balance. But eventually these all can be related to the physical activities going within our body, and leads us to the state of balance. You also know various things that we do, like pranayama, chanting, binaural sounds. There is something written behind, I don't know. But there are various tools that we are trying to use to bring a balance between the left brain and the right brain. Left brain is representing the action oriented mind, and the right brain is the creative mind. So even pranayama is trying to establish the balance between the left and the right brain, trying to increase the communication between the left and the right brain, so that there is a higher level of activation of the brain reached, and you feel free of your sufferings and really understand who you are. The worldly concepts of universal commonality, everything has a common thing, made up of protons, neutrons and electrons, and also they also being in turn energy. Positivity, we should be positive to others, our moral knowledge that we have. Courage, we should be always courageous to speak against ignorance and lies, right? Simplicity, simple living, the importance of physical and mental strength, non-ignorance, and being intelligent, knowledge, having the right information with us and understanding it in a correct way. Humility, that helps us non-discriminate between us and others. Pure and non-attached minds, pure and non-attached living, and the limitations of mind of the discriminative nature. These are all the concepts of worldly things that we understand, and our logical mind understands and accepts it. So whatever we are learning from the scriptures and Vedas and Upanishads, everything, if we have this understanding that they are trying to teach us how to live life, then it doesn't become a barrier in our expansion. It becomes more easy to digest and follow this kind of life, whichever works for you, either through bhakti path or through mukti path. If you see, Mukti is more of a masculine form and Bhakti is more of a feminine form. The above represents the surrender, and the below represents desire and seeking and action in order to achieve a state. So, in conclusion, there is a outward union, uh, aspiration in the living in life. Many things are trying to understand and realize through the connection with the outside world with the help of love, kindness, compassion, and surrender. These are some examples of feminine uh, union, and the other path is the masculine, which is more of non-attachment, introspection, and sacrifice. uh, the creation with the help of these two forms, what eventually we are trying to do is to reach the state of mind where the discrimination ends and we are able to understand who we really are. We as in part self is nothing but fundamentally same as the creator or the creation. When I'm able to break the difference between me and the whole creation and understand that fundamentally we are the same, in that we obtain perfect state of balance, and that is the purpose of life. To summarize in one sentence, if I have to say, purpose of life is to bring balance of desire and surrender by eliminating ignorance of false understanding of self or attachments to things which are uh, non-real or mind made, and assumptions of who we are and what we are based on what has been taught to us and never actually realized uh, or really perceived, and this being done with the help of knowledge and action, so that all our sufferings end, and we stay in a blissful state. This I understand as a purpose of religion. um, I have tried to put a lot of information into a small PowerPoint slides, I know, but I hope that, sincerely hope that this information helps you understand and escape from the challenges of day-to-day living, and enjoy every moment the way you want it to. Whatever goals you pursue, you find meaning in it, and you are able to actually do it without limitations. Um, I kindly request you to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends as much as possible. Many of us are like me are seeking this, and this information will really help. And I would also request you to share your comments, and if you have any different thoughts that you want to share, and for a better understanding, if there is something, uh, a gap in my understanding that you can help me uncover, it will be really helpful. So thank you very much, really appreciate it.